On Community Conversation, we're going to be talking to a number of Adrian School music teachers regarding the upcoming school year and getting the kids interested in the music programs, and especially in the sixth grade music programs like the band, choir, and orchestra. Right now with me, I have the director of the Springbrook Bands, Cheri Powers, with me. Cheri, welcome into the program.
Thanks for having us, Dale. It's nice to be here.
Well, which instruments can students play in the sixth grade band, Cheri?
So in sixth grade band, students can choose from one of three woodwind instruments, the flute, the clarinet, or the alto saxophone. We start those, or from one of four brass instruments, the trumpet, the French horn, the trombone, or baritone. And we found that starting students on one of those 7 instruments gives us the best foundations for a great, successful band.
So how do students get their instruments in, Cheri?
So students do not need to have an instrument before school starts. Some instruments can get some students get an instrument from a friend or family member, maybe like me. My mom played the clarinet, and so I used her clarinet when I joined band, or a friend. Their students choose to rent or purchase from our music company. We work with Marshall Music for our band instruments. And other students, we don't want finances to be a barrier, so we do have instruments that are owned by Adrian Public Schools that we loan out for students to use during the school year.
Oh, cool. And are students able to switch to other instruments as they continue in band, or do they have to stay with the one instrument that they began with?
So in sixth grade, we start with those 7 instruments, and then that gives students that gives us the teachers the insight to know what the students' strengths are and which students will be successful at switches. And we do what we call secondary instrument application in the second half of the sixth grade year, and even seventh grade, depending on the instrument. I know lots of kids love to play percussion, or they'll say they want to play the drums, and we offer that. That is an apply. They have to apply for that position later in sixth grade, and that gives us a lot of insight on to how well they are at reading music, at reading rhythms, and at being dedicated to that learning curve.
Okay, well, how often do the middle school bands perform, and where do they play then, Cheri?
So in sixth grade, we have 3 main performances, and we host all of those at the Performing Arts Center. We have our beginning instrument informants, which is an informational night where we show parents everything we learned from the very first day of band until that time, which is usually sometime the end of October. Then our second concert we give in the Performing Arts Center, we have a lock-in time with our orchestra friends, and we learn new things and have activities, and then we give our concert at the end of that, and that's usually sometimes in the middle of February. And then our final one is all the 6th through 12th grade bands. It's called Bandorama, and that takes place in the high school gym, and it's one of the best events of the year because you get to see all of the kids from 6th grade through high school and see where they're going. The middle school bands also have opportunities to play at many other events, such as festivals and solo and ensemble, and our middle school bands have even played at the Capitol.
Now, that was pretty awesome to be able to have that, Cheri, and that had to have been exciting for the students to be able to participate in that.
It was.
Yeah. Is there anything students need to know before coming to the band class then, Cheri?
Nope. I think sometimes students hesitate in joining a music class, especially the instruments, because they think they don't know enough yet about those instruments. Well, they don't have to know anything. We learn everything from how to open the case the right way so the instrument doesn't fall out, to how to assemble it and make a great sound on it, and then we learn the notes and rhythms, and we start playing beautiful music, and it's just awesome.
Excellent, excellent. Cheri Powers, director of the Springbrook Bands, thanks so much for talking with us.
Thanks for having me, Dale.
As we continue our discussion about the music programs at Adrian Schools, and especially for the 6th grade music programs, I've got with me Lori Wittenkeller, the director of the APS Orchestra. And welcome into the program, Lori.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well, thank you so much, and thanks for being on the program. Lori, what if a student has never played any type of musical instrument before? Can they still be a member of the Springbrook Orchestra?
Oh, yes. Students don't have to have any prior knowledge of how to play a string instrument or a band instrument. We will be teaching the students everything that they need to know to be successful with whatever they choose to play.
So which instruments can 6th grader play in the orchestra then, Lori?
Orchestra instruments are from the string family, so we have violin, viola, cello, and bass. All the instruments in the string family come in different sizes. So if you're a small person, you can play a big instrument. And if you're a big person, you can play a small instrument. If the student is interested in playing the bass, they will need to start on another string instrument. Then a little later on in the year, they can try the bass and see if they would like to learn how to play it. Usually students rent the instruments they want to play, and if students want to play a string instrument, they need to wait until they've been measured by me so that they get the correct string instrument. We don't want anybody to be frustrated because they got the wrong size.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that would make the experience even more difficult too, doesn't it, Lori?
Oh, yes. Oh,
Yeah.
It's a pain.
Yeah. Lori, do your orchestra classes meet every school day then?
Oh, yes, they do. We have music classes every day that we are in school, and this lets us have quicker progress with their playing. And we also get to show what we've done through several concerts during the year.
So what types of activities do the sixth graders focus on then in the orchestra class?
Well, most importantly, we want to make sure that they know how to make music on their string instrument. I will teach them how to hold the instrument and the bow. We also learn to read the notes on the music staff. I use games and online activities to help the students to become their best possible musicians that they can be. And sometimes we even have guests in our class that come in and work with the kids to have them become better players.
Students who are in sports or clubs or other activities, can they still be part of the orchestra, Lori?
Oh, yes. We highly encourage them to do as much as possible. Middle school is about exploring. I have kids right now in orchestra that also participate in football, basketball, volleyball, track, cross country. We've got some in science Olympiad, equations. They are on the robotics team, and they do the musical. So we want them to have the best experience possible with as many activities as they can handle.
Now, that sounds awesome. What if an instrument is a little too expensive for the family? Are there ways that the student can still play in the orchestra then?
Yep. My goal is to make sure that all students that want to play a string instrument have the opportunity to do it if they have that desire. If they're interested in playing a string instrument and can't afford to rent the instrument that they wish to play, then I would like to have a parent contact me, and I will do my best to make sure that the instrument is available for their child. If the parent goes to the Adrian Public Schools website, and I can give that to you a little later if you wish, and then go to the Springbrook Middle School, my email address will be at the Springbrook Middle School part of the website under teachers and staff, and they can contact me that way. Or if they would like to call Springbrook Middle School and talk with them, they can get in touch with me. The number at Springbrook is 517-263-0543. Adrian Public Schools website is www.adrianmaples, all one word, .org. And I also have a website, which is www.apsorchestras@weebly.com.
Excellent. Lori Wittenkeller, the director of the APS Orchestras, thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you for letting us have this opportunity to talk to you too, Dale. We really appreciate your efforts with us.
And now we're going to be talking to Barbara Shank, the director of Springbrook Choirs and Springbrook Musicals. And Barbara, it's good to have you on the program once again.
Well, thank you, Dale, for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, what are some of the skills that sixth grade choir students learn?
Elementary school teachers have started some really great things, and we get to move on and take everything that they've learned and just build on it. It's like building blocks. And in choir specifically, we're going to be looking at things like, how do I produce a good sound when I sing? Because a lot of times people just think you open your mouth and make a sound and that's okay. But there are really great ways to make a a wonderful sound. And it has a lot to do with how we shape our mouth, especially the inside, how we control our tongue, breathing. Breathing is like 90% of great singing, and a lot of people don't know that. But if you can breathe properly, you're going to sing well. If you hear pitch well, which I think most people do, we just have to learn to listen and use our ears. But that breathing helps us to produce a great sound. We also learn how to project our voice. And so somebody might say, well, I'm just really shy and I don't know how to get my voice come out. Well, I'm going to teach you how to project that sound. And then, another great thing is that we, in choir, of course, we sing with others. So we learn how to blend, because in a choir, we don't want to have voices sticking out. If you're a soloist, that is awesome. You can sing out all day long and be your own. In a choir, we learn how to blend, and it's really using our ears to listen to those around us, so we are sounding great together. So those are some of the things in choir that we work on and we teach our students.
Okay, Barbara. Well, how is singing at the 6th grade level then different from elementary school singing?
Well, we are going to take everything they've done. We're going to add that in. We're going to, they learn in elementary school some of those basic things like the whole note and the half note. Well, we not only learn it, but we read it in our music. So their eyes, instead of seeing it like on a, just a wall poster, and they saying, what kind of note is this? This is the whole note. How many beats did it get? 4. Now what they have to do is become independent learners, where they look at their music and they are able to see it and instantly go, oh, that's a whole note. I need to give that 4 counts. Oh, that's a half note. I need to hold that for 2 counts. Oh, that's a quarter note. That just moves a little faster. That's just 1 count. And so they do that. They also learn how to put it all together and do rhythm. And in a wonderful way, we're pretty fortunate with choir because we get to use words. And, once in a while it sounds or scatting and in jazz music, but they get to use more of the words, most of the time. And that really helps them figure out a lot of that rhythm. And so, they're going to do that. And then we have it in choir. We have what we call sight reading. They have it in band and orchestra, too. And in music and choir, they're using the solfege, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Mm-hmm. And they will sing that going up and down. And they have to learn that and sing that scale up and down. And it's really fun because we learn it together. We sing together. We laugh together when we make mistakes. And it's just all about learning. And so we have a great time with that.
Barbara, are there other benefits from learning to sing then?
There are a lot of people who think their favorite singer, they just got lucky. Yeah. But it is not. Their favorite singers out there that they listen to on the radio or wherever they listen to them, they practice their skill of singing for 6 to 8 hours a day, especially when they're getting ready for a concert tour or, getting just ready to go out and sing a concert. So, and then when you take them singing, hour after hour to make sure that they're emphasizing the right word and they're quieter here and they have emotion there, they're adding in choreography a lot of times, facial expressions, and then, of course, they're learning to tell their stories, not only through their music, but when they're introducing their music. And so all of these famous singers that we see out here work so hard to make their craft beautiful. And so that is, in middle school, we get to start that, and hopefully that love will be developed, and it moves on, and in high school they can go on, and if it so calls their heart, they can study it in college and become either a professional singer, or they can come back and be like we are in the classroom. I mean, I'm not going to be here forever. Someday I'm going to need someone to come in and teach these classes and keep these kids learning and loving music. And so we need people who are going to continue this love and this heritage of bringing great music into Adrian.
Well, that sounds good. So how do 6th graders get signed up for choir, Barbara?
Okay, there's a couple great things. Each of the 5th grade teachers have sent out information to their classes, and we have a Google page information where they can go in and sign up their name, and the parents can get them signed up, and they can put in band, orchestra, choir, because they're all fantastic programs, and it's whatever works for them best. And if for some reason they can't do that, it is super simple to call Springbrook Middle School at 263-0543, and they can talk to Ms. Duvall, and she can take down their information of what they are interested in being and participating in music. And I hope that they all choose to be in a music class, because music uses the left and right side of the brain, and it makes up, that pass over, and it gets our brain really thinking and focusing and allowing us to process even better. And it's proven that it helps students in school. So all three of my children were in it. They were in it. They were played an instrument, and they sang in choir. And that does take some work to work out. It can happen. But as a parent and then as a teacher, I would say music is so beneficial. Plus, one more thing, Dale, they can be together for 7 years, and they create such a community, a family.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They're together 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. And they have these bonds that last forever. They have friendships. And that's so important in school, to have that group of people that you're always safe with, that that you're loved. And I love promoting that idea.
Barbara Shank, the director of Springbrook Choirs and Middle School Musicals, thanks so much for being on the program.
Thanks, Dale, for having me. I really appreciate it.
My thanks to the three music teachers from Adrian Public Schools: Lori Wittenkiller, the director of APS Orchestras; Cheri Powers, director of Springbrook Bands; and Barbara Shank, the director of Springbrook Choirs and Springbrook Musicals at Adrian Public Schools. This has been Community Conversation. I'm Dale Gardner. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.